So picture this. It's 2025. The whole world is kind of shutting down, putting up walls to trade. But India? India decides to go on the offensive. It was a year that saw the country just completely rewrite its playbook for how to deal with the rest of the world. Let's break down how they managed to pull it off.
This was the billion-dollar question, right? Everyone was asking it in 2025. With global demand shrinking and protectionism on the rise, how could any country really hope to expand its exports? The old way of doing things was clearly broken.
And this is really where our story begins. Because instead of pulling back, India decided to just rewrite the rulebook from scratch. It launched this aggressive new strategy, inking deals that completely changed what a trade agreement could even look like.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit. What was the world actually like in 2025? Well, in a word, closed. For India, this new reality meant that, just trying to sell more stuff abroad wasn't going to be enough. The real prize had to be building up its own industries and creating better jobs right there at home. And that challenge led directly to India's big innovation, the New Generation Free Trade Agreement, or FTA. And look, this wasn't just some fancy new name. It was a fundamentally different approach for a whole new economic era. So what makes one of these FTAs new generation? Well, they go way beyond the old model of just cutting taxes on goods. They bake in two absolutely crucial, legally binding pieces: huge investment commitments into India and much better visa access for Indian professionals who want to work overseas. This slide really just nails the difference, doesn't it? The old way was like a one-lane road, focused only on shipping goods back and forth. This new approach? It's a multi-lane superhighway, moving goods, investment, and skilled people all at the same time. All right, so that's the playbook. But how did it actually perform out in the real world? Well, let's take a quick spin around the globe and look at the 4 massive agreements India locked down during this 2025 blitz, starting with a major G7 partner.
First up, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, with the United Kingdom, signed in July. This was a huge deal, and it really cemented a deep economic partnership with one of the world's biggest economies.
Now, one of the single biggest wins is this number right here. The deal got rid of something called the Double Contribution Convention. In simple terms, it meant Indian IT firms no longer had to pay Social Security taxes twice, once in India and then again in the UK for their employees on short-term projects. We're talking about a direct saving of over 4,000 crore rupees. That's about $500 million every single year.
And on the good side, the impact was just as big. The average UK tariff on Indian products absolutely plummeted, going from 15% all the way down to just 3%. All of a sudden, Indian textiles, auto parts, you name it, could compete on a much more level playing field in the UK. Okay, next, let's hop over to continental Europe. In October, a deal went live with EFTA, the European Free Trade Association. Now, you might not know them by name, but this group includes 4 very wealthy countries: Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein.
The headline from this deal was an absolute game changer. The EFTA countries made a legally binding commitment to invest $100 billion into India over the next 15 years. This was a world first. Seriously, no other trade deal on the planet had ever included such a massive, enforceable investment promise.
And the wins just kept coming. That investment was directly tied to a goal of creating 1 million jobs in India. On top of that, India got nearly 100% market access for its non-farm goods. And, this is critical, it protected its super important generic drug industry by rejecting clauses that would have really hurt its ability to compete.
But India wasn't done yet, not by a long shot. It ended the year with a real flourish, signing 2 more key deals in December, one with Oman, giving it a solid foothold in the Gulf, and another with New Zealand, a historic first step into Oceania. And these deals really delivered. India got almost total duty-free access for its products in both countries. And true to that new generation playbook, the New Zealand deal added a visa quota for 5,000 Indian professionals. And here's a fascinating cultural win. Both deals included the first ever formal recognition of India's Ayush traditional medicine systems.
Okay, so we've seen the 4 big deals, but what do they tell us when we look at them all together? Let's try to connect the dots and break down the really clear strategy here, looking at both the offensive and the defensive plays. Offensively, the pattern is just crystal clear. In every single negotiation, India pushed for those core elements of its new playbook: legally binding investment to create jobs at home, and better visa access for its professionals to work abroad. This was never just about selling more stuff. It was a total strategy for economic growth.
But you know, a great strategy isn't just about what you gain. It's also about what you refuse to give up. India was absolutely firm on its defensive red lines. It consistently protected sensitive areas like its dairy sector to shield millions of farmers. And, just like we saw with the EFTA deal, it fiercely protected strategic industries like its generic drug makers.
So, what's the legacy of this pretty incredible year? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture.
Just look at the results on this table. With EFTA, it was that staggering $100 billion investment. With the UK, a massive cost saving for the IT sector. With Oman and New Zealand, it was all about gaining almost total access for Indian products. 4 different partners, 4 huge, custom-built wins.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. 2025 wasn't just about signing a bunch of documents. It was India showing the world a powerful new model for how a major economy can chart its own course and win, even when the rest of the world is closing in.
And all of this leads to one final huge question for the future. Now that this new playbook has been proven to work in Europe, the Gulf, and Oceania, where in the world is India going to aim it next?